Hi everyone, Nikolai here, and I wanted to tell a story. This story is, I suppose, relevant to not just World of Warcraft, but really many other things. Now, I didn't know how to upload this, if I should upload it with gameplay, but it's hard to upload gameplay of a game that you're not subscribed to at the moment. So that means you guys are stuck looking at this ugly mug. While we're on that subject, they say people see you 20% more attractive than what you are, but 20% extra of zero, still zero. 200 IQ answer. Anyway, what I've been struggling with, and again, this pertains to many other things, but World of Warcraft will give us the best example. And I don't know if people have this issue in game like I do, and that is I just can't switch mains. There are so many moments that I have with my druid, but not just that. The reputations, the all the exalted reputations I have. I switch characters and I look at my reputation thing, and it just bums me out that I have to do everything again. Blizzard, can't you just give us account bound reputations, or at least something to ease that along? And their reasoning is weird because they said, if you're an alliance member and you go into the Jade Forest, the Jinju aren't going to be like, oh, hey, you didn't do anything for us, so why should you be exalted? And I want to say that these people probably have never been a Canadian throughout the rest of the world. I had a friend who went to the Netherlands, and he wanted to stay at a cafe or above a cafe, like I guess a bed and breakfast would probably be the easiest way to describe it. But they asked if he was in the service. He said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Well, you're not going to pay for your room." Now, during World War II, I believe it was World War II, when the Canadians liberated Holland or the Netherlands, they loved them. They're seeing them as revered. Now I know this is real life, but it could make sense. But they still revered him, and they showed him a bunch of photos and stuff of their family. He was still revered like he was one of those soldiers. So when Blizzard says that, well, it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, it makes perfect sense. Doesn't matter which soldier liberated you. You go, oh, that guy's from the Alliance. They're good people. Why not give them a horse? It's just that's a whole other issue. Okay, I know it's a whole other issue. Let's get back on track. I digress. Why I can't really switch mains not only has to do with professions, but also uh, transmogrification, time played, those types of things. I find it incredibly difficult to change mains, to change to a different character. Also, it's the reason I struggle to play a different MMORPG. I want to talk about what I believe it is. It's something called the sunk cost fallacy. Now, the misconception is that you make rational decisions based on the future value of objects or investments or experiences. For example, you can relate all those to World of Warcraft yourself, I'm sure. But the truth is that your decisions are tainted by the emotional investments that you have accumulated. And the more you invest into something, the more difficult it becomes to abandon that. I have that. I absolutely have the sunk cost fallacy. And I know some people in like some relationships will probably have the same thing, but probably not to this extent. But you figure, well, I spent so much time, effort, love, attention on this. Why would I ever change it? It could be, and it could also lead to the downfall of you not wanting to play anymore. Um, because like I tried new things, I feel like I have to invest in something. When I play whatever character it may be, whatever I do something in a video game, I feel like I have to invest into that character, whether it's Caustic from Apex Legends or it's Jormungandr from Smite. I have to. I feel like I want to keep playing with that specific character or deity in Smite's case. So it's really hard for me to let that go. And another MMORPG, I just don't want to put effort into it. Because every MMORPG, it's like, well, this reminds me of WoW. This is like WoW. And that's such a hard feeling to shake. Where it's like, well, I know, like, you play it for a bit, and you're like, this is cool, but WoW just did things I feel better. Which is weird because WoW isn't, I believe, as good as it used to be. So perhaps it's more of a veterans issue. Like if you've played World of Warcraft in, uh, let's say, if you started in Legion, you might not have this. If you started in WoD, you might not have this. But if you played in Classic, BC, Wrath, and you just feel like you keep coming back because you feel like you sunk so much into it, why would you give up now? And I feel like a lot of people have that. And I know this isn't a new concept. It's just, I guess it's more or less just story time for me. However, that's why it's hard when I quit the game for a period of time. And when I come back, I still have to play that same character. I come back when the character feels better. Or when the game feels better. Unfortunately, the sunk cost fallacy for me doesn't have much of a tightened grip on me as it used to. It's not something that controls me really. I've shifted my focus to other games, but it's really hard when you want to be invested in something, into a game. It's a hobby, you know. You treat your hobby with some love. You treat it with some respect and with some enjoyment. If you don't enjoy your hobby, don't do it. That's, I think, the biggest misconception people have is, well, some people take their hobby more seriously than other people. There's nothing wrong with that. There are other things in life I'd like to do besides gaming, I suppose, but while I'm gonna game, it's a hobby that I'm gonna enjoy. I'm not gonna stay bad at something, or I'm not gonna not want to learn the game. No, I want to learn it. And I know I'm getting off topic, but I suppose the more passion, the more emotion you put into something, the more difficult it becomes to let that thing go, or to change how you perceive that thing. You have a lot of fanboys, and that's just because perhaps they have that emotional attachment that they don't want to let it go. That's why some video games, like I never used to be this way. Like when I was young, I used to play Call of Duty. They have a new iteration every year. Now I don't want to play Call of Duty. Partially because it's awful. It's not nowhere near as good as it used to be. We'll see how the Modern Warfare is this year. If it's a hero shooter again, I'm not going to be picking it up. That's not Call of Duty to me. But also the fact that one gets released every year, it's hard to keep that investment into something that's just going to be obsolete in a year. It's like, why bother? But I suppose I'm one of those type of people that like long life games. That's why I miss things like Dirty Bomb. Rest in peace. I wish I had my hat so I could pull it off the no hair on my head and say rest in peace. Smite is another game that's been around for a while, and it probably will be around for a while. World of Warcraft will be around for a few more years. Hopefully, maybe. Actually, I used to say hopefully, but now I just say maybe. Who cares at this point? But anyway, guys, I don't know. It's just story time. I haven't uploaded in a while. I don't really know what to upload, so you guys got story time. You guys got hopefully something interesting. Maybe you feel the same way, or perhaps maybe you don't. Regardless, let me know in the comments. Do you feel the same way? If you don't, or if you do, let me know why or why not. And I will see you guys, hopefully, very soon. If Apex Legends doesn't keep crashing.